Welcome to today's webinar. We are excited to have you and to introduce a new product series, the Hillstone A-Series Next Generation Firewall. Before we get started, I'll go over some housekeeping items. This webinar will be recorded and the link will be shared with you. You will get the presentation in an email after this webinar. During the webinar, you can type your questions in the Q&A box. We will address all questions at the end. At the end of this webinar, you will see a survey link in the chat box. Your feedback is very important to us. Please share your feedback so that we can serve you better. With me today, we have Tim Liu, our CTO and co-founder, and also Yan Zhu, Director of Sales Engineering. Tim and Yan are joining me to help answer your questions during the Q&A session. Before I kick it off today for today's topic, I want to hand it over to Tim for an introduction. Tim?
Hello.
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome, everyone. This is a SIP webinar for the new generation of NG Firewall platform from Hillstone. As we know, the technology in security space is changing pretty fast. You know, we see new kind of attacks from hackers, new kind of attacks from nation state players. There's also new threats from technology adoption, like cloud, remote workforce, 5G, etc. Also, we are seeing rapid adoption of AI and machine learning in the security technology. So the platform need to handle more things. It need to handle more security functionality, need to handle more application security, data analytics, etc. So really putting a strain on the system. So the customer is really looking for a high performance, high capacity platform, and also in a smaller form factor. So Hillstone is pleased to come out with this A-series that will hopefully bring performance, functionality, and capacity to a new level. So with that said, I'm passing on to today's speaker.
Thank you, Tim. We'll catch you later at the end of the webinar. So for all the reasons that Tim mentioned, today's network security landscape continues to change. Specifically, we are seeing these changes in multiple ways. Let's start with network performance. Performance is always an issue and harder to guarantee, especially as network traffic continues to increase exponentially. And the more robust your security features are, or if you enable multiple security features at the same time, the faster your network needs to perform in order to keep up with application service levels. For your network security solution to be effective, you must evaluate and process very large amounts of data that are collected from different security services or sources. But limited internal storage in security devices is a challenge. Without enough storage capacity for data, the ability to process and analyze the data will just be a dream. Another challenge for next-generation firewall devices is limited space in data centers. Because of space, heating, and cooling costs, the hardware needs to be more compact, but also more dense. And even as we speak, the network security landscape is constantly shifting, morphing, and expanding. And security admins need to keep up. They need visibility, deep knowledge, and control of their networks, armed with the right tools in a unified management platform. And finally, enterprise networks are widening access with hybrid cloud deployments, local area networks, and wide area networks, access edges, more and more IoT devices, and in the very near future, 5G networks. So from a security management point of view, admins will be flooded with policy overload. If there are usually tens of thousands of policies on a firewall, it is not realistic to manually maintain security policy updates. Not to mention, large amounts of outdated policies not only reduce efficiency, but also bring up risks in the network. Admins will need automated tools to manage security policies. Today, we introduce the Hillstone A-Series Next Generation Firewall. The A-Series is compact, fast, efficient, and future-ready. It is based on an entirely new hardware architecture. It addresses the gaps and challenges we see in the market. It delivers high performance in a compact size. It comes with excellent expansion capabilities in its available ports and storage options. It integrates advanced threat protection for known and unknown threats without compromising on performance. It delivers smart policy management to reduce the security admin's workload and help them focus more on what really matters. During the rest of this presentation, I will cover an overview of the future-ready A-Series next-gen firewall and explain the benefits of the brand new hardware architecture. I will also go over each of these 4 product highlights for this release: performance, expansion, threat detection, and smart policy operations. This week, we released 8 new models for the A-Series next generation firewall. We will release models in multiple phases. In phase 1, there are 2 desktop models and 6 rack mount models that are 1U in size. They range from 4 gigabits per second to 20 gigabits per second of firewall throughput. The A-Series desktop models complement the existing Hillstone next-generation firewall platforms to satisfy more business scenarios and more use cases. The A-Series rack mount models are competitive in the market with advanced performance, excellent expansion capability, and cost efficiency. I will explain these and more in later slides. As I mentioned before, the A-Series hardware is based on a new hardware architecture, which brings on lots of possibilities. I will also talk about this benefit in the next slide. The A-Series is feature-rich and performance-heavy, even in a 1U form factor. It offers industry-leading application layer performance that meets real-world network security needs. Higher density port means excellent access capability, and large storage options offer better visibility and analytics. Basic AI features are included, and the platform will evolve to further integrate the deeper AI functionality that we already have in the other series. In the next phase, we will release more models to cover the higher and the lower performance ranges. And we will continue to improve these models in terms of both performance and functionality through future software upgrades. So first, let's take a look at the benefits of the new hardware architecture. The A-Series is based on a powerful computing platform. It delivers and guarantees high performance even in security feature-rich environments. As I mentioned, Hillstone is known for application layer security performance. We are in the leader's position in the industry for network performance. The new architecture lends itself to be more software-friendly for third-party integration. For instance, we can integrate with third-party anti-spam solutions for advanced threat detection. It also opens it up for future integration with other technology vendors. SSL decryption is processed much faster when it's hardware accelerated through the CPU. The new CPU architecture supports hardware acceleration for SSL decryption. This means that no SSL acceleration card is needed. Please note that this feature is in the hardware already today, but will be enabled soon with a software upgrade in the next phase, phase 2. For all the rack-mounted models, we feature front and rear ventilation. This allows it to have excellent heat dissipation. This is a benefit for networks of almost any size. It also helps keep operational costs down, costs that are associated with maintaining a server room or data centers. Now let's take a closer look at performance. In this first release of the A-Series, we have two desktop models, the A1000 and the A1100. In terms of performance, the A1000 delivers 4 gigabits per second firewall performance, 300,000 maximum concurrent sessions, the ability to initiate 48,000 new sessions per second, 3.4 Gbps of IPS throughput, and 1.8 Gbps of antivirus throughput. The A1100 provides 5 Gbps firewall performance, 300,000 maximum concurrent sessions, 48,000 new sessions per second, 3.7 Gbps of IPS throughput, and 2.0 Gbps of antivirus throughput. These two A-series desktop models are designed to complement the E-series desktop versions. Many of you may already be familiar with the E-series desktop models. On the table to the left, we have compared the performance numbers against the A1000 and the A1100. The bar graph on the right is a visual comparison against the same attributes: firewall throughput, new sessions per second, maximum concurrent sessions, and throughput for IPS and antivirus. If we take the specs of the E1600 as a reference, you'll see that the performance spec for the A-series desktop models are significantly greater than the specs for the E-series desktops. All in all, the A-series desktop models provide double firewall throughput, 3x maximum concurrent sessions, 5x new sessions per second, 8x more IPS throughput, and 11x more antivirus throughput. Above all, you would choose the A1000 and the A1100 to satisfy scenarios or use cases that need higher performing desktop models. An example would be the high traffic nodes that you see in SD-WAN projects. Now let's take a look at the Rackmount models. This table shows the 6 new A-series Rackmount models in orange font. You have the two A2000 models, which are the A2000 and the 2600, with 5 Gbps firewall throughput. And you've got the 4 A3000 models, the A3000, the 3600, 3700, and 3800, all with 20 gigabytes per second firewall throughput. I'd like to point out that the A3700 and the 3800 firewall performance can be increased from 20 to 40 gigabits per second by adding an expansion module. I'll talk more about this feature in a couple of slides. So you can see from the bar graphs here, comparing against the E-series models, the A2000 and the A3000 models perform better across all attributes, and especially in application layer performance. Also, if you need more guidance on which models to choose for specific workloads and projects, please reach out to your local sales representative for more information and guidance on that. And moving on to expansion capability on the network interfaces. We will also go over storage capacity and options. I'll cover the highlights for the network interfaces and the value they deliver in this slide. The A-series comes with excellent access capabilities. They provide a relatively large amount of fixed and high-speed I/O ports, even in the desktop models. In some use cases or scenarios, the A-series next-generation firewall can even take over the responsibilities of a switch or router in the network, saving you the additional cost of buying a switch or routing device. Typically, adding an expansion module only gives you more I/O ports, but in the A-series, an additional benefit is an increase in the throughput because of the high-performing hardware architecture. For instance, the firewall performance of the A3700 and 3800 can double from 20 gigabits per second to 40 if you add the IOC ASFP Plus expansion module. Next, you'll see we also offer the bypass capability for the desktop model 1100, the A1100, and all Rackmount models. There is one bypass pair of GE interfaces in the 1100 and the two A2000 modules. And there are two bypass pairs of GE interfaces in all four of the A3000 models. So you can see deploying Hillstone A-Series as the security solution in the network means that your business continuity is much better guaranteed. And lastly, all 8 of the A-Series models come with two USB 3.0 interfaces. It will provide 4G and 5G access capability starting from phase 2 through a software upgrade. With 5G access, your network is ready for the future with 5G networks. Now let's discuss the role of storage. Storage capacity is important when it comes to analytics, reports, and visibility. To help provide the storage capacity you need for robust analytics and reports, all of the A-Series models, including the desktop models, support local storage at 8 gigabytes. And the storage can be expanded on demand to support even more comprehensive analytics and reporting, with an optional expansion hard drive ranging from 256 gigabytes to 2 terabytes. In this slide, we compare the differences between the two options: standard with the local storage only on the left, and standard and expansion hard drive on the right. With the local storage, the system stores configuration files, signature database, images, and these types of essential data. It also stores logs, including network, event, configuration logs, and also reports. For persistent storage of threat logs and cloud sandbox logs, they can be sent to the Hillstone centralized management platforms, including HSM, HSA, and CloudView. The more storage you have, the more your system can do. With additional hard drive storage capacity, the system stores logs for up to 6 months, including network event, configuration, threat, and cloud sandbox logs. With more data stored and available for a longer time, the system is able to perform deeper analysis. This means that it can provide more granular, detailed reports with more results and summaries, more graphics, more visuals, and also more recommendations for admins to secure their networks with. And with deeper threat analysis also comes richer dashboards. The web user interface will display much richer threat detection information. This in turn gives admins better visibility. And then the increased visibility lets admins quickly zero in on anomalies and other suspicious network events or traffic and analyze them and respond accordingly. Next, we'll talk about the advanced threat protection features on the A-Series. The Hillstone A-Series next generation firewall includes a full arsenal of tools and tactics to provide real-time detection and protection across the full lifecycle of attacks and malware. Here we have the list. Before a breach can even occur, proactive protection like IPS blocks any attempt to exploit vulnerabilities in the network. IP reputation services blocks requests from risky sites potentially involved in malware and spam. URL filtering prevents users from inadvertently accessing sites associated with phishing, malware downloads, and other exploits. Antivirus detects and blocks known malware at the network level with an advanced signature database that is always updated. Anti-spam provides real-time spam classification and prevention for both inbound and outbound traffic. During a breach, antivirus plays an important role as well by continuing to detect and block known malware. A cloud sandbox provides sophisticated detection and prevention of malicious files. And to provide complete protection across the full threat lifecycle, the A-Series continues to defend even after a breach may have occurred. Hillstone's Botnet CNC prevention feature blocks communication to the control channel and detects and blocks bots within the intranet as well. All in all, the system's unified threat detection and analytics engine coordinate together across all built-in security mechanisms. This means that it's done efficiently, lowering network latency. From all the features I've pointed out on this slide, I've highlighted 3 that I'll explain in more detail in the following 3 slides. These are anti-spam, which is available in all A-Series models. Cloud Sandbox, this feature focuses on addressing unknown viruses. And Botnet CNC, this feature also provides detection for unknown threats. A key point to take away here is that we have on the roadmap more robust AI-based security and threat intelligence features that will become available and that will address security beyond just pre-breach, breach, or post-breach. So keep an eye out for that. Nowadays, spam traffic targeting cyber attacks has already exceeded beyond our normal email traffic. We get more spam than we do real email. Also, spam is no longer just an innocent prank. It may use pop culture or current events to easily attract our curiosity and become hard to avoid. But we have you covered. Hillstone Anti-Spam looks into email data such as the sender, content keywords, attachment, URL, among other details, and then uses machine learning algorithms and rules to determine whether an email is spam. The anti-spam feature maintains a real-time connection with the cloud database, so it can provide real-time spam classification and prevention from spam from known or unknown malicious sources. It also supports detection for encrypted traffic. Many of you are familiar with the Sandbox. The Hillstone Cloud Sandbox delivers a unique platform for advanced threat detection. It can emulate the execution environment and analyze all activities related to malicious files within a sandbox. It can then identify advanced threats and collaborate with other solutions to provide fast remediation for admins. It also updates the signature database with its findings. So how does this work? First, it runs a static signature analysis of the files, such as identifying the file type, the file format, and the known malware signature. For known threats, it can screen them using the filter feature, such as the URL whitelist, file signature validation, sample database on cloud. After the static analysis, it runs a behavioral analysis that looks for anomalies and evasive maneuvers. The Cloud Sandbox emulates the operating system. Included are Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8, 10, Mac OS, and also Android. It uses a machine learning model to validate the file behavior. Next, the Cloud Sandbox compares the static information and behavior of the files against intelligence information, meaning malware, signatures, phishing websites, and malicious domain names. And then comes the scoring. It attaches every file with a risk evaluation score. It generates logs and reports and shares the threat intelligence back to the cloud. Through these 3 steps, static analysis, behavioral analysis, and cloud intelligence, the Hillstone Cloud Sandbox feature detects malware with a low false positive rate and a high detection rate. Botnet CNC. One of the more damaging battles when fighting against polymorphic malware is the defense against notorious command and control attacks, also known as CNC or C2 attacks. CNC attacks are often executed over DNS with the intention of helping the attacker gain a foothold into the network, ultimately to steal sensitive data or even get full control of the network. The A-Series comes complete with Botnet CNC prevention. It serves as an effective defense against insidious botnets, and it greatly reduces the overall vulnerability of the network. The system monitors traffic from TCP, HTTP, and DNS protocols, and then compares this data against the CNC database with the goal of intercepting intranet bots. The C2 databases include both IP address and domain names. The A-Series also provides DNS sinkhole detection and DNS tunnel detection. The DNS sinkhole detection feature helps better determine which internal hosts are bots. The DNS tunnel detection feature detects any suspicious traffic over the DNS tunnel. And then you have the DGA detection feature. The DGA, also known as Domain Generation Algorithm, periodically generates a large number of domain names that can be used as rendezvous points with their CNC servers. Hillstone's DGA detection feature detects traffic connecting to the DGA domains. So we're reaching the last highlight that I will go over, which is smart policy operation. Throughout the policy lifecycle, from policy deployment to management to optimization to operation, we have automated tools to help minimize an admin's workload and streamline policies. Let's look at each of these phases, starting with policy deployment. We make policy deployment easy with automated user policy deployment. The Radius server manages user authentication. It can deploy user policies to the firewall automatically when a user logs in and removes these policies when the user disconnects. In this way, we only need to manage the user privilege on the Radius server. No configuration on the firewall is needed. Policy management is made much simpler and more efficient through policy groupings. Also, policies can be aggregated in groups to allow a set of policies to act as a single policy. We also help you optimize security policies, existing policies. An innovative feature, the Policy Assistant, learns and analyzes network traffic over a given time and helps refine the policy in general. It can show admins a list of recommendations and suggestions on policies based on this learning, and the admin can decide whether or where to deploy the recommendation. This is particularly helpful when you have no idea of what kind of policies to plan for launching a new service. And we make policy operations smart using the redundancy check and analysis feature. Typically, admins just add policies, but they rarely delete a policy for multiple reasons. So they can never quite know whether there are any outdated or duplicate policies. The policy redundancy tool can tell you which policies you can safely deactivate or remove. The policy analysis feature helps you optimize a policy. It analyzes hit counts and hit trends for policies, meaning it'll look for whether, when, and how many times a specific policy was actually triggered. Policy analysis will give you visibility into how effective that policy or policy group really is. It can show admins whether a policy is relevant or effective or too narrow. All of these features are tools for admins to help them streamline their operations and be more effective in how they manage their policies. And now, in summary, the A-Series features high security performance, expansion as needed, complete advanced threat detection and prevention, and smart and automated policy operation. It is fast, effective, efficient, and future-ready. As always, Hillstone provides security that works with better and better total cost of ownership. And Gartner agrees with us. Every year, we strive to get closer to the leaders' quadrant. As you know, we have been recognized every year for the last 7 years by Gartner's Magic Quadrant for network firewalls. In 2020, Hillstone positioned highest and furthest in the niche players quadrant. We secured this position for our ability to execute in the completeness of our vision as per Gartner. And this year, in 2021, we expect to continue our advancement upwards and to the right. We thank you for joining us today. Have a wonderful day. We'll catch you next time. Thank you.